All right, so welcome to another deep dive, everybody. And today we are looking at a case that I think is going to make everyone question kind of what they thought about the criminal justice system.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to be examining the life and crimes of Michael Torrence.
Mm-hmm.
He was a serial killer who was executed in 1996.
Okay.
But what makes this case really fascinating is that Torrence actively fought to hasten his own execution,
Oh, wow.
even when his lawyers were trying to appeal.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Really makes you think.
yeah, it really does. It makes you wonder kind of what was going on. So to help us unpack this whole thing,
Mm.
we're going to be looking at excerpts from Torrance's Wikipedia page.
Gotcha.
And this lays out kind of the chilling facts of his crimes.
Okay.
We're talking revenge plots. We're
Right.
talking a brother and a wife accomplice duo.
Oh, wow.
It's
A
a
whole family affair.
whole twisted family affair.
Yeah.
So to kind of start at the beginning and try and piece together what happened,
Okay.
Torrance's story really begins in early 1987 with a plan for revenge.
Mm-hmm.
His brother's wife, Donna Torrance, was a dancer at a club called the Carriage House
Okay.
and felt that she had been disrespected by two patrons, Charles Bush and Dennis Lawless.
Gotcha.
Now, what I find so striking here
Yeah.
is how this perceived slight
Right.
escalated into a double homicide.
Yeah. I mean,
And it just really goes to show how this potent mix of resentment and impulsivity can drive people to commit just unthinkable acts.
yeah, sometimes, the smallest spark can ignite a raging fire. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like that initial kind of sense of injustice
Yeah.
festers and grows
Yeah.
until it explodes into something really horrific.
Absolutely. So Donna, along with her husband Thomas,
Okay.
decided to involve Michael,
Mm-hmm.
and they came up with this plan to rob these two men as payback.
Oh, wow.
And so they tracked them to a motel room
Okay.
at the Red Roof Inn in Cale, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
And Donna actually went to the motel, knocked on the door,
Mm.
and told Bush this completely made-up story about her car breaking down.
Oh, wow.
And so he agreed to give her a ride.
Right.
Good Samaritan, really.
Yeah.
But it was a setup.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. It's a classic case, I think, of exploiting someone's good nature for malicious purposes.
Yeah, it really speaks to a lack of empathy there.
Yeah.
Such a disturbing level of premeditation.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they had already dehumanized their victims in their minds before even,
Absolutely.
carrying out the act.
It's chilling.
Yeah.
So Donna led Bush back to her house in Pine Ridge.
Okay.
And as he stepped inside, Michael was waiting.
Uh-huh.
And the brothers just brutally attacked him,
Oh, my gosh.
beating him with a tire thumper
Oh.
and choking him with a dog chain.
Jeez.
And they used Bush's motel key to go back to the Red Roof Inn,
Oh, no.
and they stabbed Lawless to death in his sleep.
Gosh.
It's just,
So brutal.
it's a level of brutality that's really difficult to comprehend.
Yeah, and the thing that really kind of gets to me is
Yeah.
the escalation of violence in such a short time frame.
Right.
I mean, the first murder, is obviously horrifying, fueled by revenge.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
But the second one was seemingly committed with even less provocation.
Right.
It really suggests this growing desensitization to the violence.
Yeah,
It's as though they were just caught in this spiral,
absolutely.
each act kind of feeding the next.
Yeah, and you think it can't get any worse. It does.
Oh, gosh.
A month later, in March 1987,
Okay.
Torrance picked up a prostitute named Cynthia Williams.
Mm-hmm.
They had an argument,
Uh-huh.
and he shot her dead,
Oh, my goodness.
dumping her body by the I-526 where it was later discovered.
Wow.
Now, this act,
Mm-hmm.
seemingly unconnected to the previous murders, really paints a picture of a man kind of spiraling out of control.
It makes you wonder if those initial murders emboldened him somehow.
Right,
It created the sense of invincibility.
right,
This belief that he could act with impunity and get away with it.
right.
And it's a chilling reminder of how quickly darkness can consume a person.
Absolutely. And because he was the last person seen with Williams,
Right.
the police made him their prime suspect,
Okay.
placed him under surveillance,
Mhm.
and eventually arrested him along with his brother.
Gotcha.
Now, you would think with 3 murders on their hands,
Yeah.
all 3 would face the death penalty.
It would seem so.
But that's not how things played out.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, that's where the nuances of the legal system come into play.
Right. It's not always a straightforward eye for an eye situation, is it?
Exactly.
There are all these mitigating factors to consider.
Exactly. And while all 3 were initially considered for the death penalty,
Okay.
In the end, only Michael actually received it,
Gotcha.
and only for Lawless's murder.
Okay.
He also received 2 life sentences for the other killings.
Right.
His brother Thomas got a life sentence, and Donna received a lesser sentence in exchange for testifying against them.
I see.
So it really highlights the complexities of legal accountability, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Like, the justice system has to kind of weigh individual roles and actions
Right.
when determining those sentences.
Yeah, it's not about treating everyone involved equally. It's about,
Right.
trying to unravel who did what.
Yeah,
Who planned, who instigated, who participated,
absolutely.
and assign responsibility accordingly.
Exactly. And here's where things take a really unexpected turn.
Okay.
Instead of appealing his death sentence,
Right.
as most inmates would,
Of course.
Torrance decided to drop all appeals
What?
and actively sought execution.
He wanted to die.
He wanted to die.
That's unbelievable. Why?
And he went so far as to clash with his lawyer, Joe Savitz,
Wow.
who was desperately trying to save his life.
It just seems so counterintuitive to everything we know about, the
Yes.
human instinct for survival.
Right? It's just a complete, reversal of what we usually see.
Exactly. Most death row inmates cling to life.
Yes.
They'll exhaust every legal option to avoid their fate.
Right.
But Torrance was different.
Totally different.
It's almost like he embraced death.
He did, yeah. And it makes you think, was it genuine remorse?
That's a good question.
Was it some twisted sense of justice?
Right.
Or maybe even a desire to, control the narrative, even in his final moments?
Fascinating.
I know, and to make things even more complicated.
Yeah.
He even claimed that he'd killed a family in Guatemala as a mercenary
Right.
years before.
Okay.
But his father refuted this,
Really?
stating that Torrance was imprisoned at the time.
So are we dealing with a liar here?
Right, so it just adds another layer of complexity to the story.
Absolutely.
Was he trying to embellish his past to kind of justify his actions?
Right. Like, was it a desperate attempt to,
Right.
shape how people would remember him?
Yes, or was this, a sign of a deeper psychological struggle?
Yeah. Was there some mental instability that was driving these actions?
Exactly. And his lawyer certainly believed he was mentally unstable,
Wow.
which of course raises a whole other set of questions, right?
It does. It really makes you think, if someone's not mentally sound, can they really make such a weighty decision about their own life?
Exactly. And it's a question that legal systems all over the world grapple with.
Yeah. And
It's like the right to autonomy, the right to make decisions about your own life, even if that decision is to end it,
right.
is already super complex.
Mm-hmm.
But when you add in the question of mental competency,
Yeah.
it just gets so much more difficult.
Yeah. There need to be safeguards
Right.
to make sure that, an inmate's decision to forego appeals is made with, full awareness of the consequences.
Right.
And that there isn't undue pressure or mental impairment influencing that choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in Torrance's case,
Yeah.
the prosecutor, Donald Myers,
Yeah. Okay.
argued that he was completely rational, even if his actions were driven by prejudice. It's a strange contradiction, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You're acknowledging the calculated nature of his crimes.
Right.
But also accepting his desire to die.
It's just hard to wrap your head around.
It really is, and it makes you think about what justice really means in a case like this.
I know.
Like, is it about retribution? Is it
Yeah.
about punishment, or is it about something more?
Right.
Does a killer choosing to die change how we perceive their guilt,
Right.
their responsibility?
Exactly.
Does it bring closure to the families of the victims?
Right.
Or does it feel like they've escaped true accountability?
Right.
These are all really tough questions to wrestle with.
They are. And just imagine being Dennis Lawless's widow, Shelby.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
She decided to attend the execution.
Wow.
What a powerful statement.
What do you think she hoped to gain from that experience?
I don't know. It's hard to speculate, but I imagine it was about reclaiming some sense of power
Yeah.
in the face of such a senseless loss.
Right? Like to look the man who took her husband from her in the eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
to witness justice being served on her terms.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it was just a way to finally move forward.
Exactly.
Find some semblance of peace.
And so on September 6th, 1996, as Hurricane Fran threatened to strike the state, Torrance was executed by lethal injection at Broad River Correctional Institution.
So even the weather seemed to mirror the turmoil surrounding his execution.
It did, yeah. It was like nature itself was acknowledging the weight of the moment.
Really powerful imagery there.
Yeah.
It's interesting that his lawyer read a statement from Torrance before the execution.
Yeah.
He finally admitted the impact of his crimes,
Yeah.
saying that he wanted to bring closure to the families and that he'd found God.
Yeah, but even with those last-minute pronouncements,
Yeah.
there's no way to know for sure what was truly in his heart.
Absolutely. You can't help but wonder,
Yeah.
was it genuine remorse?
Right.
Was he just trying to manipulate public perception one last time?
Yeah, and even stranger.
What's that?
His request for a last meal, steak, shrimp, and lobster, was denied,
Oh, wow.
which just seems like an odd detail
It does,
in
yeah.
the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it kind of highlights the cold, bureaucratic nature of the system, doesn't it?
Yes,
Even in its final act, there are still rules and regulations to follow.
absolutely.
And it's really strange.
But
Torrance was executed on the same day as another serial killer,
really?
Douglas Franklin Wright, in Oregon.
Wow.
Talk about a day for the history books.
It really is.
Two very different men, both meeting the same end.
Yeah, this whole case is a tangled web of motivations and contradictions
Yes.
and unanswered questions.
Absolutely. So where does this leave us?
Well, I think it leaves us with a deeper understanding of the complexities of human nature.
I agree. The lines between good and evil are often blurred.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, even with all the facts laid out,
Right.
the answers remain elusive.
They do.
Michael Torrance took his secrets, his true motivations,
Yeah,
to the grave with him.
like he did.
Yeah, it really makes you think, why would someone choose that?
Right. I mean, was it remorse? Or was it like this warped sense of justice?
Or maybe he wanted to control the narrative,
Yeah, control how people remember him,
even in death.
even in death.
Wow.
And it gets crazier.
What else?
He said he killed a family in Guatemala,
What?
like as a mercenary,
Really?
years before.
Okay.
But then his dad was like, no, he was in prison then.
Oh, so he's lying.
Right, so it's like, was he just trying to make himself sound tougher?
Yeah, maybe justify what he did here.
Yeah, or was it like, something deeper or something wrong?
Right, like mentally.
His lawyer thought he was unstable.
That's a huge issue, right? If someone's not mentally okay,
Right.
can they choose to die?
Yeah, I mean, it's a debate everywhere, right?
Huge debate, like you have the right to decide about your own life.
Right, even to end it.
But if you're not thinking clearly,
Yes.
there's got to be some protection there.
There have to be safeguards.
For sure. Like, did he really understand what he was giving up?
But the prosecutor, Donald Myers, he said Torrance was totally rational.
So, his actions were planned but driven by prejudice.
It's like, how can it be both?
That's what's hard. It's like, what does justice mean then?
Right. Like, is it revenge?
Punishment? Or is it something else entirely?
And if the killer chooses to die, does that change things?
Big time? Like, for the families of the victims, do they feel closure?
Or like he got away with it?
It's heavy stuff.
It is. Imagine being Dennis Lawless's widow, Shelby.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
She went to the execution.
Wow, what a statement.
Like, what was that about for her?
Hard to say, but maybe taking back some control?
Right, after something so senseless?
Looking him in the eye,
Yeah.
Maybe that was her justice.
Or maybe it was just to be able to move on.
To find some peace.
So, September 6th, 1996, a hurricane's coming.
No kidding.
Hurricane Fran.
Yeah.
And they execute him.
Jeez, even the weather was dramatic.
Lethal injection. Broad River Correctional Institution.
Like nature was part of it.
Yeah, like it knew what was happening.
And his lawyer read a statement from him,
Before
finally admitting what he did.
saying he wanted the families to have closure.
And that he found God.
It's like, at the last minute, was it real?
We'll never know, right?
Never know. And here's a weird thing.
Okay, wait.
They denied his last meal request.
Really? What did he want?
Steak, shrimp, lobster, the whole works.
It's almost funny, but it's not.
It's like rules are rules, even then.
So impersonal, even in death.
And get this, that same day, another serial killer's executed.
No way. Where?
Oregon. Guy named Douglas Franklin Wright.
Wow, what a day.
Wholly different guys, same ending.
This whole case, it's just so much going on.
It really is like a puzzle with missing pieces.
It makes you think about people, how complicated we are.
For sure. Good and bad. It's all mixed up.
And even with all the facts, sometimes you don't know why.
We'll never know his real reasons.
He took those to the grave.
It's just crazy. Like you said, he took those secrets with him.
He did, yeah, but I think even without all the answers, this whole deep dive has been super insightful.
It has been.
I mean, we've gone through so many layers of this case,
We have.
from the brutality of the crimes to like the legal stuff,
Right.
and then like the psychology of his decision.
In his mental state.
It's fascinating and disturbing at the same time.
It really is. And I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
We have. For anyone listening who's like really into this,
Yeah.
I'd say look into it more. There are books and articles,
Oh, yeah.
documentaries all about capital punishment,
Right.
legal ethics, and what makes people like Torrance tick.
It's crazy how one case can lead to so much other stuff.
It really is.
And for everyone listening, we want to know what you think.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a case like this where the killer wanted to die?
It messes with your head, right?
It does. Like, what is guilt then?
Totally. And remorse, what's the point of punishment?
If they want it.
Yeah, it makes you think about like the darkest parts of people.
And that's what I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
It's not just the facts, it's the stuff we don't know.
The gray areas, the questions that stick with you.
Exactly. The ethical stuff, the dilemmas.
You got to wrestle with it, even if it's uncomfortable.
Well said. So, thanks for joining us, everyone, on this deep dive.
Into the world of Michael Torrance.
A chilling case. A complex man.
Keep those minds curious.
And those conversations going.
There's always more to learn.
And more to discuss.
Absolutely.